Festival lovers, festival goers, welcome to Q's Couch Conversations, episode 4, and we're bringing you more amazing artists. Now, this is very exciting. A very special person took a little bit of time off from her very busy schedule, and you'll see just now, to come and grace us with her stories, some of her experiences, and how it's going at festivals so far. So please welcome Mamela Nyamza to the couch.
Hello.
How are you
doing? Thank you for having me. I'm fine. I'm tired. I just actually did my final tech before the opening tomorrow. So yeah, I'm really tired, but I'll do my best.
Okay. As you guys can see, she's looking very golden. She's just come from a rehearsal for Black Privilege. So a professional who works all the time but still makes time for couch conversations like this definitely deserves our best interview. So let's get right into it. Mamela, let's start with your journey into theatre, dance, choreography, performance. What was that like?
The journey actually started off, when you are a dancer, sometimes you are always casted doing the same thing. And I just got bored. And I'm like, why am I always casted to do the legs, the norm things in dance? I decided to actually bring out my own artistic way, my own voice, my own signature to actually tell my story the way I want to tell it. Because also at the same time, I was not telling my story. So by actually doing me, I was now raising also our own Black women's voices. Yeah. Like what can you say about choreography? What can you say about dance that has not been said before, or that is actually going to be you, represent you as a Black woman in South Africa today? Okay. So that's how I got into choreography. And then from then, I never actually looked back, and I'm still choreographing even today.
Wow.
Yeah.
We know that you've been in the business for over 2 decades.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm not too sure what you can't do. Choreographing, the dancing, the teaching, I'm sure a bit of mentoring as well, but
Yes.
we know you do a whole lot of mothering. What would you say your fans, your favorites, people that follow you and support you, what did you say they don't know about you from some of these titles that I've just described?
I love cooking.
Okay, so she's a chef as well.
I actually like it's a way of meditating.
Lovely.
For me, I feel like if I want to cook and to take myself away from my dancing, busy schedule and choreographing, I love to cook. I'm very homely. I don't like to go out a lot.
Okay.
So if I go out, I'm not too shy, but there is the element of shyness. I don't know why, but I guess it's the work we do on stage. Sometimes people carry it out of stage.
Yeah.
So when you meet the people in the public spaces, they still see the Mamela who does these crazy things on stage, but they don't know that I'm a human being. So that makes me to feel like, oh God, I'm judged as a performer, not as Mamela.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, I'd rather be home. So I'm a home woman. I
Homebody.
like to be home with my partner, my kids. And if I go out, again, my partner is my friend. I have friends as well, like lots of friends. But then my best friend is my partner. And when I'm at home and with the kids. So that's the other thing that people don't know about me.
Yeah.
I'm such I love a family life.
Okay.
And what else do I love? I love staying in a bath.
Okay.
I think as a dancer, that's one thing I want to just chill.
Relax your body.
And have my gin and tonic.
Nice. Oh, now we know. Gin and tonic. Mamela Nyamza loves gin and tonic.
At times now.
Okay. Now, you describe yourself as a homebody, a family body. Let's talk about how that influences your work, because we watched Hatched, and motherhood and the story you wanted to tell there was coming across very strongly. So how do you incorporate that family life, motherhood, the love you have with your partner into your work?
Actually, that work, it was Hatch, and it was created in my partner's place. Basically, it was created in a dining room. My son, when he was 8, he was actually just under the table as well. It became that he was going to be under the table because at home, you know how kids will be under the table and doing things. And then in the rehearsal space, he will also, when I fetched him from school, he will be lying there just drawing. And he just naturally is a drawer, so he can draw. So that was actually incorporated into the work because I thought, okay, this is actually interesting because I'm talking about me hatching, but then, hey, this hatched out of me. Oh. So I can't leave it out because it's part of me.
Exactly.
So that's how actually Hatched came out. It's so intimate. It's like very homely. It's homely in a way that it brought out all my frustration as an artist, as a woman who was married and actually kind of came out and actually left the husband and be with a woman. So all of that became like real.
Yeah.
And I think as artists, we're those people who don't hide anything. We tell it as is.
Yeah.
If you're a true artist.
Ah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, sometimes some people don't want to go to personal, but some artists, when they go personal, they go deep.
Deep.
You know, so I've seen other artists during the festivals too who did some really personal works. You know, like I just saw Stephen Cohen as well. That was very personal work that he did, where he actually was mourning his partner on stage. So that for me is like, wow. So we actually are like that. We tell it as is. And some people go like, I mean, I have a family who go like, oh, my sister was like, why do you do such a very intimate, your private life?
Yeah.
That's how we heal ourselves. You know, that's how we heal ourselves.
The therapy work
Even
from
my
within.
son now also goes through his own teenage depression. You know, teenagers, there are things that they want to go through and they feel like they're not ready yet, or they feel like they're ready. So he's actually having his own conflicts. And he's now kind of expressing that through his art himself.
Beautiful.
So we are actually both a mother and son who are actually good at expressing things through art, you know. And also we have also my partner as well supports with all of this craziness. I mean, which partner would say go on stage and do this? And she supports me.
Yeah.
She really is, and she's been there even now, just supporting me because I need that.
Okay.
You know.
Now your work, we know that it's very political. Like you say, you keep it real. You're not hiding anything. You're not trying to put, you know, pretty wrapping paper over things. You rip it open. You expose it for what it is. Do you ever feel vulnerable at times, or feel that you will be misinterpreted and your work will be misunderstood and taken in the wrong direction?
I think most of the times it happens really, when people write about your work. They actually, I would speak about this as in like, it depends who's writing about your work.
Okay.
I found that sometimes, I will make an example about Phuma-Langa. I've noticed that the non-black people who write about Phuma-Langa are probably trying not to see the issue in Phuma-Langa. And I've seen black writers who wrote about it. They went straight to the core. So for me, this was an interesting dynamic of how people view your work as a black woman, like from a white perspective, and as somebody from a black writer in terms of how they write about your work. So I've noticed that the black writers, which are missing, you know, we don't have many of them who write about our works. But when they do, when they saw Phuma-Langa, they understood everything I actually talk about in the work. And then the white writers, they kind of sugarcoating the things because it's kind of very confronting to the other, I think. Okay. So sometimes people misinterpret the work because the work is not literal. Yeah. I don't give it to, like a plate. Yeah, I'm doing this now. I'm closing the book now. I'm reading this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be do re mi fa sol la ti do. You know, not the same. So in a way, it's actually I'm playing with metaphors. Yeah. You know, what is writing with a gun attached, and there's a chalk attached to it? What does it mean? You know. So I feel like a gun leaves a mark. If you shoot there, a gun will leave a mark. So when I had the chalk there, making all these traces throughout the floor and on the walls, it just actually says how these guns came and took everything from us and left us with wounded, and left us with marks, and deleted our culture, and deleted our languages, deleted almost everything, deleted our land. So I could not actually say, no, I'm talking about land. You need to figure out. It's one of those works where you actually have to think. I think art sometimes is good. It's something you can go out and have a conversation about the work you just see.
Yeah,
just see.
for different perspectives.
Exactly.
All right. Let's talk about some of the challenges you still face, because we might be fooled as people who watch you and support you and love you. We might be fooled into thinking that because you've achieved so much, it's easy for you. We might forget that there are still challenges and things that you're working through. Yeah. So can you talk about some of those?
Challenges as an artist who's been around, it's actually not only me, many artists also like myself are experiencing them. I would say it's still like the gatekeeping of the main theatres who don't actually give us space to put our works out there. I mean, if a work like Hash has not been performed throughout South Africa, but has been around the world, that's really a problem, you know, because yes, now it's in a national platform, and it's actually a decade old, and some people are seeing it for the first time. Yeah. You know, so that is a problem in a way. But I'm not saying my work must be seen everywhere, but it just shows how much how much we are still not known in our own countries as artists, especially dance. We are like the stepchild of the arts, you know. It's like we're never taken seriously. We're like, oh yeah, you're a dancer. What else do you do?
What do you really do?
What do you really do? But this is something that one has experienced throughout her life growing up as a dancer. You mean you strip or what? Hey, it's an art. It's an art form. It needs to be taken seriously. It needs to also be seen like as any musician out there. Like musicians are always like on top in the arts, but dancers are like at the bottom. So I hope being featured will also kind of open doors for artists like myself. And for me, this is really a great privilege.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, which is probably why I came with the work saying Black privilege.
Yes.
I would never have this privilege without actually being featured.
Being featured.
You know? And then after that, they put you high there as a featured artist. After that, I must still go and write a proposal and say, I would like to come and perform in a festival, and I still get to be declined. You know? So let's hope after this that won't happen.
Yeah.
But this has been my journey of actually, I'm still getting declined in some festivals, because some festivals tend to run their festivals as if they are running their own kitchens, not knowing that they need to serve the people the art, not what they think is good for them. The art is for the people.
The art must speak.
Yes, to the people, not only for the person who runs the festival. Then you're running your own kitchen. You know? So this is one of the problems, you know, gatekeeping mainstream theaters who are actually not opening doors for us. And the other one is an artist you are never actually stable, you're always on the edge.
Yeah.
You don't get a salary monthly. Yeah? You wait for the next gig when you're going away or when are you performing next for you to survive. It is a challenge. It is something that you have to always keep on your feet.
Yeah.
Which is why artists must always work.
Yeah.
You know, you have the body to work, you have the hands, you have the talent, so use it. So as an artist, you don't actually just sit down and wait for work. Sometimes you have to create the work because you are the creator.
Yeah.
You know? So that challenge, you need to also kind of work with it. You know that, okay, I'm not going to have a gig for the next coming 3 months. 3 months is a lot for an artist to do nothing.
Imagine.
And you're going to be miserable if you don't do anything. So try to give workshops in that period. Try to see where can you actually fit in. Is there a gap anywhere missing? If 3 months is too much for you to do nothing, create a season for yourself. Put a show. So in a way, I do those things.
Yeah.
You know, put a show and say, okay, maybe I can have a show. Then I'll put a show in Cape Town. I will go rent the Baxter and put a show. So things like that do happen. Those are the challenges that we face as artists.
Yeah, you have to overcome them.
You have to.
There's no accepting of defeat.
Yes. They are hard as they are, because you don't rely on a monthly salary. You don't even have the 13th check. So sometimes within a year, if I was not doing some gigs overseas internationally, I would be really right there in the streets performing, maybe asking for money, you know. But then luckily my work get to be invited at times, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your work is powerful, because I want to speak quickly about Idols, which I watched in Interplay.
Yeah.
Debbie Turner had drawn from your work. 2009 first came out.
Yes.
Yes, and seeing it, it was really remarkable. And I want to speak about, because you did mention gatekeeping. So the way you are so resolute in breaking stereotypes and breaking boundaries. In Idols, we see something so out of the norm, right?
Yes,
we have men who are strong, black bodies, very important.
Yes.
Dancing in one high-heeled shoe.
Yes.
Right? We have a bit of comedy, but it's just so dynamic and live. But we get coming across the fact that this is sort of like the new way forward. You're turning everything upside down. So what can you speak to that? Can you speak to how fearless you are in breaking boundaries and pushing boundaries?
I think coming from the classics, myself, ballet.
Yes.
Ballet was full of structures, full of how everything is framed. And I guess that tired me, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired of the structures. I'm tired of how everything is constructed the way it must be, so militant, so everything. So I needed to just break free from that. So me breaking free from ballet and the classics was actually doing something that was totally against it as well, because also the Western way of ballet is basically not me. Because I tried to fit in and my body was never accepted in that classical form. even though I had to go and get my diploma and say, okay, I did it. But still, I had to be me in the work. So creating the works that I'm doing is also deconstructing what I know. I would have never deconstructed ballet or create the works I'm creating now without actually studying that. It's about studying them to know them better. Then you can turn it around.
Exactly.
You know, when you don't know anything, you have nowhere to start to break from. So I'm breaking out from something that was so stereotyped and strict for me. So that's why I actually just like kind of broke the shell and like came out as me, as Mamela, as an artist who wants to say her own voice, not anyone else's voice, because sometimes people are sometimes happy when they see you doing them. And they get upset when you're doing you because they feel like they refuse to understand you because they don't understand what you're doing. But they force us to understand them. So for me, I feel like the only way to be you is to trust what you're doing and let them understand it, because Hesh was not understood 10 years ago. So in a way, as an artist now, I'm like, wow, I filled a house here.
Yeah.
You know, when I came here 10 years ago, I had 15 people, 20 people in the audience. You understand? So also it's like you value things, how people are so actually behind sometimes, you know. So already I was ahead. That the work that I did 10 years ago, people actually are realizing it now that is a good work. Because right there is like, she's not dancing. What is she doing? Yeah? And people are following that now, following that hashed way of doing things. And me now, I must move away from that.
Yeah, you're 10 years ahead.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm trying to move away from that.
Yeah.
Probably pieces like Phuma-Langa will never be understood now, but then in 10 years' time, they're going to understand them. Because when you do work that is so fresh, people are going to, oh, that is such a snail dancing way of moving. You will see it 6 years to come, everybody's going to be doing that snail dancing. You know, that's how it is in the arts. Art must evolve. It can't stay in the same place. Then we are consistently repeating
the same
ourselves.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mamela, in closing, what would you say is your most important piece of advice for young, up-and-coming choreographers and dancers who are feeling that I'm not fitting into the mold? I'm scared. I don't know where this is going to lead. And they look at artists like you, but they're not too sure, how do I get there? Because the fear and the doubt is there, but I know I want to break free.
I know it's hard to break free, and when you start breaking free, you feel like, oh my God, are people going to understand what I'm doing or not? But I think people, the first thing is to be passionate about what you do. You must have the passion. And also, the discipline is one important thing to have as an artist, because you cannot I will also speak of how I do things as well, so that a younger generation or younger artists must understand that it's not just about being pretty out there without taking care of the body, the instrument. You take care of the instrument itself as well, your heart, inside, everything. And then you must go in there freely and showing the world that you believe in what you're doing. Because if you do not trust what you're doing, you yourself, then you will never actually trust what you put out there. And younger artists should also try to speak out. We are there. But sometimes I feel like our younger artists are afraid to ask us, or they believe that what comes from us is not as good than when it comes from the other. I've noticed that as well, because I feel like, especially I will speak about my people, black people sometimes never trust what is black. Yeah?
True.
For them to really trust something, they need to see it from a different other. So they need to trust what you're doing too. Because sometimes they are so indoctrinated of thinking what is white is better, is superior. Yeah? So they just need to trust us. We're here. We are there to mentor. We are there to speak. We are available. No? That's the advice I can give. And actually also another thing is education. You know, you cannot deconstruct what you don't know. You must learn their forms in order to break their forms. Not only their forms, not forgetting your own form.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. And be you.
And be you.
Yes.
Wow, guys. I'm definitely inspired, and I know that you must have taken something out of that. Mamela, thank you so much for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure having you, and good luck. Good luck for the rest of festival and beyond. We have no doubt that you will be back with more amazing work that's going to make us think and feel, but also instill change.
Thank you
to
for
be better.
having me.
It's
Thanks
a pleasure.
for having me.
It's a
And
pleasure.
I hope that I can do that in future. I'm getting old though. I keep on saying,
You
oh
don't
no,
look
I
it.
can't do it.
You don't look it.
You know, when you're in your over 40s, you go like, oh God, you know, it's hard to keep it up. Even now with rehearsals, I'm like, I'm tired for the day. I need 2 hours for another one run now just to walk through stuff. I can't do a full run. So that's how the body gets tired as it gets older, but you must take care of it because every day I meditate it, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Thank
Festival
you.
lovers and goers, we bring you episode 4 of Q's Couch Conversations with Mamela Nyamza, and it does not end there. There's more to come. Please stay tuned. Q Media Online is doing great things. Like, follow, share, talk about us, and also enjoy the rest of festival. Peace out.